Okay, how's everyone doing? Good to see all of you. Yes, Kevin, I agree. Anything else to add? Kevin doing his Kevin thing. Hello. Come on. Yep, you are a cat. So today, I almost didn't stream today. I'm not feeling so great. Just the exhaustion, a lot of stuff on my plate. Juggling things, responsibilities, games, work stuff. It's been a bit of a drain. So I might have to take a day off at some point soon just to give myself some time to recalibrate. But that is not today. Today I instead decided that we're gonna do a lot of testing of weird build stuff that probably shouldn't work. Um, so the first thing I have lined up is Dreadwind, but without going Stavamancer for Alchemical Agent. Instead, we're doing Blood of the Fallen for the neuron activation of having longer Dreadwinds. And I'm going to try out a few different gearing strategies and just assorted things with it. So think in the vein of that. We're doing like Dreadwind, but gearing the wrong way. Maybe some gun builds, maybe some spell builds. That kind of stuff. How you doing, Jester, Reckless Monster, Rune, Jaybridge, Rabbit, Milk Lizard? Hope you're all having an exceptional day. Exceptionally good, hopefully, but you know. Hey, Pupty, how are you? Alchemical gasp. Yeah, I know, I know. Alchemical is basically my whole personality when it comes to playing this game. Um, so the idea with this is I wanted to mess around with low crit. So I was using Insight Rings, which they give a conditional boost for non-crits after you crit. With the amount of times we're hitting, we usually have this stacked to a decent degree. It also gives ability damage, which Dreadwind gets, and you can roll action skill duration on them. So like that's something. Um, but then the rest is doing Bogbarian stuff, amped up amnesia nonsense. Armor is Frostwilder to give extra points in Cold Snap and Icebreaker, just because I thought that'd be fun. Love the unorthodox. I love presenting it, Black Panther. Sister moved out today. I've been clearing her room, cleaning the floors, moving in there on the weekend. Are you gonna keep it clean, or are you gonna use like the old room as trash overflow? And yes, that is Jake making cat noises at the wall. Have donuts? Ooh, what kind of donuts? Knowing you, just regular glazed, but you know, that's acceptable. Hey Perek, how you doing? Strawberry and vanilla frosted adventurous. So if you're unfamiliar with the Berserker capstone, it makes it so you get action skill duration or action skill cooldown back for each enemy you kill, 20%. So if you keep killing with Dreadwind, you can keep spinning. And that's fun. And you can go for quite a while. As long as you can survive, really. So getting Freezicles first is actually a good test. Because he's tanky enough to make it so that our survivability actually matters here. Because he doesn't hit that hard here, it's just, he survives long enough for our survivability to matter. Spin. Tired, otherwise vibing on, but you also tired. juggling a lot of stuff. Decided at the last second to stream, even though I was like about to open my phone and just tweet from bed like, not today. Blaze do be bussin' though sometimes. Hashtag bussin'. Even buying a rug. I'm finally an adult. That rug is going to be filthy inside of 6 months. How does it do versus Banshee? It does fine versus Banshee. Drill is the boss that this kind of gets weird against. Refresh my emails all day. I got my fingers, toes, and butthole crossed for you. That was a big blast chill. So blast chill is an annoyingly big part of this setup because it gets all the same boosts that that Dreadwind does, really, except in, you know, not melee. But like it gets the ability damage, it gets the elemental, the area. It can't crit, so it's always going to get any of the stacks of Insight Ring we have. So it hits pretty hard. It's just Blast Chill is a very inconsistent trigger. It's 20%. And we don't have swing speed at all. Morning, Grasshopper. How you doing? Happy Saturday stream. Hope to make the day a bit better. I'm hoping so as well, Pup T. So Vorkanar is an example of where I think I should actually have a poison weapon for this. I'm using a lightning one right now, I believe. Which is the worst elemental matchup for this. Full transparency. Makes so much sense if Blast Chill would get triggered by Dreadwind, but don't, so it makes it especially weird. I mean, it used to be, and they changed it so it wouldn't, which was a good change. Making Blast Chill melee attack only was a good change because it provides some identity to swinging your melee weapon, which is an issue. Zap Kachow, that's really good. Which was an issue in Borderlands 3 in particular, where the best forms of melee, none of them were punching. You were doing melee damage, but you weren't using melee attacks. So it was an identity change for game health. Imagine Blast Chill on Sabomatic, yeah, that'd be gross. Hey Archimedes, how you doing? Hey Nemexodon, hey Kitty. That's why I switched to Bogbarian. Because I want to do a Blood of the Fallen Dreadwind setup. This is a separate save, I still have the other one intact. I just wanted to do a Blood of the Fallen Dreadwind. So we're experimenting. Today is off-brand bargain bin builds day. That was a long spin. Oh, trust in magic. Love to see that. Best way for melee to be able to is a fish, and you can't change my mind on that. Well, no one's gonna argue that, because that's just mathematically the strongest way. It just is. Doing Blizzard today too? Possibly. So, like, the theme was builds that probably shouldn't work, but I think might. I don't even think Blizzard might work at C100. I think it's just not going to. Oh yeah, I should change weapon elements here. Which one? Where's the right one? There it is. Yeah, I think a big part of picking up the bossing damage I want for this setup is just going to be getting Banshees of the appropriate elements. So I think we're going to hit the melee bunny a lot today. Hey Radrexy, how you doing? Fish deleted whole maps, including yourself. Forget Feral Surge then. Feral Surge can at least still be used for, like, utility things. Like, you can use it as a gap closer. It's kind of hopeless for killing with it by itself, but you can weaken enemies with other things and use the execute mechanic. Feral Surge is less bleak a situation than Blizzard. It's not, like, completely shit like Blizzard is. There's nothing good about Blizzard. Feral Surge, there's hope. Dreadwind doesn't do melee damage. Dreadwind does melee damage. It does melee damage. It is boosted by ability damage. Dreadwind actually has quite a diverse damage formula. But it is melee damage. Wouldn't Tooth Raider be a thing for this? Yeah, I could use a Tooth Raider. But how do you expect me to shoot a Tooth Raider while I'm spinning? The reason why we have this Shrike here is because this will keep applying crossbolts while I'm spinning. And also, it's poison, letting me apply Bog Down. Yeah, Big Bog, how you doing? No, that's actually its melee attacks. That's exactly the point. With Borderlands 3, you could make melee damage very good, but melee as a playstyle, as in going up and punching things, not terribly viable for some content. There is some content that actively designed against you. So I think it was a good creative choice to leave some things in this game, or at least ensure situations where you had noteworthy skills and effects that could only happen on swinging. So you've got hilt mods for that. You've got blast chill, live wire. Those are all things that require you to actually swing your melee weapon. Give me build name ideas for Boris. The only one I have is Necromatic. I'll have to think about it, Rune. I haven't given it any thought. So we're pretty much looking at Banshees and Greatswords here. Because Dreadwind does not check the swing speed, we can afford to just go for big damage. Pan. Pan's pretty okay. Changed a lot of melee stuff because they knew Stab-O-Matic was coming, didn't want to be overly cursed, and they did a good job. Stab-O-Matic ended up being very tame. Now the Stab-O's Curse and Nerf Spellblade. I mean, you're acting like those events are related, Mooface. Stab-O-Matic came out in June. Spellblade didn't get changed until September. They're not related. Spellblade was a systemic issue with just the entire game. It wasn't just a Stab-O-Matic thing. It was a, if it was melee damage, Spellblade was better thing. Now, Spellblade is something that is in the category of Blast Chill and all that, where it's really good for swinging your melee weapon. It takes them around 9 months to get around to do anything. I mean, we've gotten other high-profile changes faster that they've told us about in advance. For example, the Livewire was completely reworked 2 separate times, and they told us a month in advance in one of those cases. Like, there are things that applies to, but I don't think that's relevant here for how they've chosen to treat melee in this game. I think outside of certain boss hitboxes, melee is pretty respectfully done in this game, and very fun. Not if it's the Gold Rush, pain. So I'm thinking, amped up, I'm really only able to get with my current setup from having a lightning weapon. I guess having a lightning shrike around would be the play to keep that active when not using when I'm not using any elements that benefit from soaked. So when I'm using fire, I would want a lightning strike. Yeah, Jake, good point. Anything else to add? Okay, okay. Any more? You got anything else? Spellblade is War Paradigm, working overtime, had to go. Yeah, and it's still, like, it's still one of the top 4 DPS melee weapons for just swinging your melee weapon. Like, it's up there with Banshee, Salt and Battery, Rage Handle. It's still up there. It's just not relevant for the other kinds of melee now, which is a good thing. Wonder if I tried just going for the crit chance anyway, even though I was not building in that direction. Let me try. Let me try that, and then shell casing. What does that bring the crit chance to? 55.5. Change some hero stats. Oh, I'm also using a weird background here. I'm using Nerf by the Bunker Master, the one that buffs all the stats by 2, but has an 8 dex penalty. Because if you're not caring about critting, then it's, like, fine. Maybe I don't do that. Stick with an insight ring there. See how this works out. Is your skill tree gun? Sure. This is like an experiment. This is not a finished build by any means. This is me just messing around with concepts. What if you did Chillmonger Spellblade with Dreadwind? That was a thing before. It's not now because Spellblade does not apply to Dreadwind. anymore. Cat? So as fun as it is, the idea of doing like low crit stuff, it's just better to have a high crit chance. Maybe I don't need to go out of my way to stack it, like in an alchemical build, but that's just more efficient. Therefore, to find sigils and lightning. Yeah, that's a good shout, actually, Moonface. That is a very good shout. Good call. Yeah, I should use that. Kevin sees Ghost of the Walls. It's Jake. Kevin's just chilling on my bed still. See, Kevin's right here. Jake is the one screaming. I like use Frost ones. Sometimes I use lightning, but lightning would be good for amped up stuff here. Not good, but it'd be more than nothing. Hey, Dark Flame, how you doing? Okay, that's more damage. And Epsy. Morning out of tamales, how are you? I can say, without a doubt, whatever that argument is, Rabbit is in the wrong. I don't know what that means, Rabbit. All I know is you did something wrong. Yeah, having the crit stats just works out better. I wanted to do a fun thing with insight rings. I have another idea for insight rings. Doing smart armor to lower your crit chance even more, so you just have more consistency. And then just like manually hitting crit spots with a gun. Or like play the angle stuff or something. That's the concept. Maybe we mess around with that today. Now she's rich, won't pay me back. That sounds like a you problem. The Twisted Grin gets it. Someone asked how Banshee is on this. Honestly, fine. You just need to back off every once in a while. I didn't back off fast enough in that one. I'm over here. There we go. Any builds still use Blue Ring Shark Lesson? Shark Lesson is something that has some value if you are trying to get, like, the Shark Lesson bonus element can apply dots, which is cool. So if you want a melee damage ring instead of a Demon Blight on a melee dot build for whatever reason, then that's relevant. I don't have any that are actively using it at the moment, but it's something that I would consider, like, not a bad thing to go after. Especially now, with how you can ensure that your quest rewards are going to be at least primordial. It's much more reasonable to just, like, go do the quest once you're C75, and then just take that and run with it. Early on, I planned on doing a guide for, like, early chaos progression gearing, but I think with the new system, I have more of an interest in that now. It's just a lot on my plate. Unlikely I get to it anytime soon. I should ban Rabbit finding his attitude towards me very aggressive. I gotta switch elements again. Nah, maybe I'll just try with lightning, see how bad it is. That's honestly fine. Whoopsie. Stop running. second Nepsi's motion. Understandable. It is Rabbit after all. Ouch. Wonder if Bad Egg might be a play here. Because, like, since I'm Deep Berserker Tree, I can afford the Blood Frenzy overspec to make up for not having Body Rune healing. There's an idea. Feeling the heat, I'm not anywhere near that kitchen. So, like, as you can see, this is less efficient than regular old Dreadwind. Because Alchemical Agent is the GOAT. But it can be fun to still just zoom around with super long duration Dreadwinds. Thonking. Having a thonk. Don't have a melee crit chance on this. And I have the minus dex background. I could still afford to, like, put points into dexterity. Make that a little more consistent. Let's try another idea I had. Which one do I want to do first? Do this first. Hey, Lazy, how you doing? Oh, have you seen the Stab-O-Matic nonsense that's been happening? Lazy. Gets the job done's alright with me. That's a good way of looking at it. And keep in mind, me being a perfectionist and being like, oh, it takes 10 whole minutes to clear a run on C100. Wow, that's me being a perfectionist. This is still very viable. What's happening? I'll show you that. Boris, yeah. He's a big anime fan. Girlfriend and I watched that new Chainsaw Man episode in Chef's Kiss. I didn't watch Chainsaw Man yet. I watched Bleach 1,000 Year Blood War yesterday, first episode. It's pretty good. But yeah, I like anime. It's still very surreal to me that Bleach is back after the anime was canceled 10 years ago. 10 years! And they're just like, oh yeah, it's here. Like, oh, okay. It's been such a sore spot amongst anime fans for a while. Like, man, Bleach never finished its run. Okay, this is the gun I wanted. But not in the element or projectile count I wanted. I guess I'll switch and do that. So this is the setup affectionately known as Boris. I hate the name. The name is Stone Swan's fault. Almost that's Snow Spawn. Almost blamed Snow Spawn for a crime he didn't commit. Nah, it was Stone Spawn's fault. Basically, this is the result of Runes, Sen, and I being weird and theory crafting Stab-O-Matic for too much time.
Are you prepared? We'll see.
Come on. This just looks like new Punchbot. It's similar. It's doing Brutal Stampede with Frostburn, and then 6 Dark Hydras. So you can have up to 6 of these, and then you could have 6 from Dark Hydras, 1 from Demi-Lich, and then 3 from Snake Stick. So you could potentially have about, on average, you're usually around like 8, but you could have up to 17 stacks of Thralls and Brutal Stampede. Brutal Stampede doing the on-shot gun damage, and then the crit damage. The crit damage being useful because it's from the shadows, so we don't need to worry about hitting high crit chance to benefit from that. And it's also an Exiblade spec, meaning while you're in From the Shadows, the Frostburn itself is triggering Exiblade constantly. And also allows you to fit in Taser tech. And because you have all that crit damage from Brutal Stampede, even the Exiblade from a Snake Stick is quite strong. Only requires a 1 in several million Brutal Stampede. I mean, pretty much just any Brutal Stampede that rolls Grave Spore with gun damage, crit damage. Like, the other passives on it actually don't matter. Like, this all damage passive, mostly irrelevant because of how much we're getting from Faithful Thralls. Melee damage is nice, but eh. Fire rate is nice, but eh. And then even the chaos tier on this doesn't really matter much except for the size of the passives. Like, we don't have Spore Warden in our kit at all, so the Spore power doesn't matter, and the Grave power is affecting Dark Hydra's damage. Like, so nothing. Stab-O power is there on Amulet for class feat and From the Shadows.
darkness encroach. Ready to fight evil together?
Well, Jesus Stampede on a few things, getting the right one's pain. Yeah, getting both the stat roll and the classes, that's the tough part. And then if you're applying that to a build where you care about the actual, like, not the Stampede passes, but the regular passes, then that gets even more complicated. So, like, we were briefly at 11 Thrall stacks there. Usually hanging out around 8.
I can cast again.
It's gonna be rude to bark. Oh, yeah. Bark gets 2-tapped by a Tootherator on this build.
Archer's Bay.
I'll try a Dire Sack for fun. I don't think it'd beat an Amnesia. Depends on what you're using it on, really. So, like, Amnesia gives, global damage. But so does Faithful Thralls. So we're using, like, the next biggest way of accessing that damage mult. So the fact that Stampede, in the context of a Stab-O-Matic build, gives you access to a fresh mult for your gun, and then can also give you an extra useful stat, it makes it worthwhile here. Watch Fight Club for the first time. It's the most chaotic gay romance film I've ever seen. Very disappointed Brad, main character, because of the end. I think Brad should have been real and him the main character. It should have been a poly relationship rode away to the sunset, but Brad, the main character, a toxic couple is probably not good, but I can dream. I mean, but they're the same person. So, like, it's not a romance. I guess it's masturbation. Spoilers. Rabbit, you won't remember even the name of the movie we're talking about. You don't know the plots of movies you have seen. It's fine. Or the plot of Avatar. I'm still convinced that that was a lucky guess. You're literally the only person I know who knows the plot of James Cameron's Avatar. The only one. I'm convinced you're the only person on the planet who does. Dances with Wolves with Blue Aliens, you mean? See, if I remembered the plot, I'd be able to comment on how accurate that is, but I don't. I do not remember. Beats me. Really pretty in IMAX? You're really pretty in IMAX. James Cameron thinks way, way too much of himself. Oh, he totally does. Rude. I didn't want to spend that ammo, but okay.
Welcome back to the land of the living.
Right, Avatar 2 is the thing. Yeah, and recently, Mr. Cameron himself was going around saying, oh yeah, movies just aren't the same if you don't go see them in theaters and IMAX. Like, drive-in ticket sales. I get it. While I'm a fan of the cinematic experience, it's often pushed in a way that's like, oh, you're a bad person for wanting to watch it at home. Like, shut up. I forgot about my Queen's Cry. Really? It's probably gonna die from that, too. Yeah, if I'd remembered the Queen's Cry for the opening bit, it would have been better off. Oh well. Universal Soldier keeps you topped up since you're hitting so many times. Yeah. On each melee hit, you have a 30% chance to just refill your mag. Now, it goes from your stock, so it's not infinite ammo. It's using the ammo you have. But, you know, with Stab-O-Matic, you're hitting 7 times per ammo spent. And then I have Executioner's Blade happening. I have Snake Stick happening. Look at that health. Look at that health. That's obnoxious.
Absolutely enraging. Morning, Roddy. How you doing? There's the damage. That's the damage you get when you full setup. Aw. Didn't one cycle. And then for Maker. I really want to make a zip rocket setup. I just don't think they have the damage for C100. Like, 1.1k base isn't bad, because it's splash. It's not Ellie, though. Maybe. Oh yeah, I don't have money on this save from respecking too much. That's a big thing that I kind of miss from BL3. Being able to freely respec without being like, oh, I am financially just murdering myself. Let's do that again. I can make that cleaner. Make zip rockets work and C0 and I'll be impressed. The damage on them isn't terrible. You can make it work. You can make it work. Like, micro rockets for launchers are very similar in function. They're better, but they're similar in function. And micro rockets are viable up through C35. I never tried them at C50. Or, you know, higher. But old C35, they're viable. So they'll probably be viable up to new C50. At least. I'll do that run again.
Have some fun.
Let's see if I can do that faster. Can the respec and build rate cost 10% of your money? Yes. Just Wonderland's money is still useful. Yes. Earning money is slower in this game than in BL3, and we have more uses for it. Hey Kat, how you doing? Played pre-patch, I feel like it's way easier in Chaos now, and it's just on the nerfs, and 50 feels like 20 and so on. Yeah, they stretched out the health curve. So old Chaos 50 HP is between current Chaos 60 and current Chaos 61. For reference. So you need to hit Chaos 61 before you're hitting pre-patch HP values at all. Also, like, 83-ish, and, like, this is easy. Used to before. Yeah. If you were comfortable at old C50, which I know you very much were, Kat, you're one of the few people who is out there shredding C50 pre-patch on Twitch. I like to keep track with those of us doing that. So yeah, you were comfy on old C50, so new stuff, even beyond C50, won't really be anything different to you, difficulty-wise. Once you get up into the very high levels, you start having to push your damage a little more. But enemy damage, for example, is one thing that will always be easier than what you're used to. Because at 100, you get enemy damage values at old C50, but they also nerfed a couple bosses. So, for example, Nightmare and Wastard are just permanently easier than they were pre-patch. And enemies are not cooperating AI-wise on this one. Slow because of that. I was getting at because like I'm waiting for it to switch. Kind of swim, so I think I'm okay. Yeah, you'll be fine. Lastard deserves what he gets. Pain I went through, making sure to get through his glitchy. Thing with Lastard is none of the difficulty reductions to Lastard are the difference between people who couldn't do it before being able to do it now. any improvement in performance you see against Wastard is because you are making better choices as a player. Proof, Wastard has been nerfed 5 times, and some of the same people are still claiming he's literally impossible, without allowing for the possibility that they're making poor gameplay choices or that their build isn't ready. He's been nerfed 5 times, and not even the same way each of those 5 times. 5 times, and some of those are in different ways. It's not that the boss was ever unfair. It's that people were unwilling to conform to what the boss wanted them to do. So eventually Gearbox caved, which honestly I wish they hadn't. Because it's not often in LANs games that bosses do more than stand there and act like piñatas. It's not often that enemies in LANs games do more than stand there and act like piñatas. Wonderlands is very good about forcing players to engage with enemies, conform to mechanics, understand strengths and weaknesses, all of that stuff. So a lot of the complaints about things like bosses or enemy damage comes from people who were just approaching it with a Borderlands mindset, where they don't have to know how to do any of that stuff. And this even applies to stuff within Borderlands as well. Guardian Takedown gets a lot of shit for having mechanics. People don't like Veracitus because Veracitus is a very tanky boss if you ignore mechanics. People don't like Master Yi because it's a mechanics boss. Borderlands players fundamentally don't like being challenged, no matter what they will tell you. At least the vocal ones don't like it. Hey, Mr. I'm So Smart. Thank you so much for the Prime for the 3 months. Means the world. Watch your stream on the second monitor makes the grind to CS100 more fun. Hey, I'm happy to provide entertainment. I kind of colossally fucked that.
Stream on the second monitor makes the grind to Chaos 100 more fun.
The way text-to-speech emphasized that made it sound like the amount of more fun was 100. You know what I mean? Oh, I should have done that the slow way. My greed cost me a lot of time there, but... Greed be like... Deadshot laser hand build, Blaster doesn't even hit me before I kill him, he's so easy now. Yeah, he barely moves, barely does anything, and barely does damage. He's barely a boss.
I hope you're ready to fight villain, because I've got a bone to pick with evil.
spoiled with double anarchies and BL1 slag and BL2. Can you blame us? Well, BL1's singular raid boss was an actual raid boss with complexity and depth.